Crama-Land. Even the name sends shivers of shame down my back. It's a sub-community, hidden within the sprawling expanse of the internet. A place where whispers of true crime and human drama collide. A digital circus where the line between spectator and participant blurs. I was drawn to it, like a moth to a flickering flame. The allure of the unknown, the darkness that lurks beneath the surface of our everyday lives. I first stumbled upon Crama-Land by accident. A wrong click, a misplaced search term, and suddenly I was tumbling down the rabbit hole. At first glance, it seemed harmless enough. A collection of online forums and chat rooms dedicated to discussing true crime documentaries and fictional thrillers. But there was something else there too. Something darker, more insidious. The stories shared in Crama-Land were not for the faint of heart. They were tales of violence, of betrayal, of the darkest recesses of the human psyche. And yet, I couldn't tear myself away. I found myself spending hours lost in this world, reading every post, every comment, every twisted detail. It was addictive, this voyeuristic glimpse into the abyss. The people who inhabited Crama-Land were just as fascinating as the stories they shared. They came from all walks of life, from all corners of the globe, but they were united by a shared fascination with the macabre. I wondered what it was about these stories, about this community that drew us in so completely. What compelled us to stare into the face of darkness? As I ventured deeper into Crama-Land, I began to feel a sense of unease creeping in. The stories, once thrilling, now left me feeling deeply disturbed. I would lie awake at night, my mind replaying the gruesome details, the victims' faces etched into my memory. I knew I should step away, but I couldn't. I was caught in the undertow, pulled further and further into the depths. I tried to rationalize my fascination. I told myself it was the psychology behind the crimes that intrigued me, the desire to understand what drove people to commit such horrific acts. And perhaps there was some truth to that. But there was something else at play too, something more primal, more unsettling. Perhaps it was the adrenaline rush, the thrill of experiencing danger and fear from the safety of my screen. Or maybe it was the sense of community, the feeling of belonging that came with sharing these dark secrets with strangers in the dead of night. Whatever the reason, I was hooked. Crama-Land became my guilty pleasure, my secret obsession. I would steal moments throughout the day to check the forums, my heart racing with anticipation at each new notification. I was losing myself in this world, but I didn't know how to stop. I was like an addict chasing a high, knowing all the while that it was destroying me. Within the swirling vortex of Crama-Land, I began to recognize familiar faces, or rather, familiar usernames. There was the archivist, a meticulous researcher who could unearth obscure details about any case. Then there was the profiler, whose uncanny ability to predict the motives and movements of criminals bordered on the unsettling. And of course, there was the cynic, whose dark humor and sardonic wit provided a strange comfort in the face of such grim subject matter. We were all different, our lives and experiences as varied as the cases we discussed. But within the confines of Crama-Land, we were united by our shared fascination with the mysterious. We were drawn together like moths to a flickering flame, each seeking solace and understanding in the company of others who shared our morbid curiosity. I found myself drawn to these individuals, these strangers who understood the strange pull of Crama-Land. We would spend hours dissecting cases, debating theories, and sharing our own personal experiences with crime and justice. Our conversations were a bizarre mix of the analytical and the emotional, the detached and the deeply personal. In these interactions, I found a strange sense of camaraderie. It was as if, by sharing our darkest fears and fascinations, we were somehow exorcising them. We were creating a space where we could confront the horrors of the world without judgment, without fear, or so we told ourselves. The thrill and the terror. Consumed by the spectacle. As time went on, the lines between reality and the digital world of Crama-Land began to blur. The stories I read, the conversations I had, they all seeped into my subconscious, coloring my perception of the world around me. I became hyper-aware of every interview, every misspoken word. I found myself constantly analyzing the people around me, searching for telltale signs of deception. Was that man on the bus a potential stalker? Was that woman at the grocery store a grieving mother masking her pain? The world, once familiar and safe, now felt fraught with hidden menace. The thrill of the chase, the adrenaline rush that came with unraveling a mystery, it was addictive. But it came at a cost. The more I immersed myself in the world of Crama-Land, the more desensitized I became to the very real suffering behind the cases discussed. I felt a growing sense of guilt, a gnawing awareness. Was this entertainment, this morbid fascination, a form of exploitation? Was I, in my own small way, contributing to the very exploitation I claimed to abhor? The thought haunted me, casting a long shadow over my once intriguing escapades in Crama-Land. Beyond the screen, reflections on our fascination with darkness. My journey into the heart of Crama-Land was a descent into the darkest corners of these internet streets. It was a journey that forced me to confront my own mortality, my own capacity for both good and evil. I emerged from the experience forever changed, my perception of the world irrevocably altered. I came to realize that our fascination with crime and drama is not merely a morbid curiosity. It is a reflection of our own deepest fears and desires, our need to confront the chaos of the world and find meaning in the midst of suffering. But there is a danger in staring too long into the content created. We risk becoming consumed by the drama, desensitized to the very real pain that lies at the heart of these stories. We risk losing sight of our own capacity for empathy and compassion. As I finally stepped away from the digital circus of Crama-Land, I carried with me a profound sense of unease. I had stared into the black screen, and the black screen winked. I caught a glimpse of what dwells in the depths of anonymity. There's a darkness that resides in the psyche that may have free rein online.